Yo, 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 yo. Let me turn on the music. Perfect. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me see. What's up, Masi? What's up? What's up, everyone? How is everyone doing? Hello from Jordan. Love to see it. What's up, Beefy Beat? You know it. Come on. How are you, Archie? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. What's up, Regine? Mohammed? What's up? What's up? Love to see it. Yeah, ACK, XPy, and Eric. About the newsletter, you are indeed on the list. I just haven't been sending anything, so no worries, no worries. It will come. I just need to find some time to do it. So today there will also be a newsletter sent out. So throughout this week and next week, you'll get an email. No worries. What's up, Christian? The Candle Whisperer, you know it. I'm looking forward to the weekly live stream all week, but today I'm having dinner with family. No worries, Eric, no worries. Family above everything. Family above everything. You can just watch it back, no worries at all. If you do have a question, just drop it now and I'll make sure to look at it. Hey, Andes, how are you doing, sir? How are you doing? How are you doing? Let me see some names. A lot of familiar names. Love to see it. How did I get subscribed to for the newsletter? It's on ario.io. If you navigate towards ario.io, you'll find it pretty easily, and you fill out your name and your email right there, and you get subscribed. No worries at all. What's up, Tori? Starting at 50k this week, man. This is going to be. Let's go. Love to see it. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. I applied your concept very successfully on my Twitter and I linked you. Same name as here for followers. Always. Let me see. I'm actually not that active on Twitter currently, but I'll go over it. And otherwise, send me an email with the Twitter link, and then I'll look at it for sure. Yes, this will be on YouTube later. Now, the reason I am live a little bit earlier than usual is because I also have an appointment later on. So just to get the full experience of the live stream where we could go over the weekly forecast and some questions. Then let me put the link in the. That's the link right there. Yeah, I think last time I sent something was the individual excellence. That was the last email I've sent. Yeah. All right, let's go over the weekly forecast. And then afterwards we go over some questions. So if you do have questions, always ask it. All right, perfect. I was just distracted a little bit. Perfect, let's go over it. So right here, what are we seeing? On the dollar, last week I actually mentioned, what did I mention? And if you've been watching the live streams, I mentioned I did not want to see the dollar coming into that weekly value gap, ideally. I did not think it was necessary. And right here, I essentially was wrong on that. And when we do come into that, I'm not looking at price, all right, I'm now bearish. No, I shared with the mentorship as well. Well, again, weekly fair value gap. So if we do continue higher, then obviously we will likely continue higher off that weekly fair value gap right there. So that is how we react. And based on the video that we had on Friday, this is also perfect, right? Because you're sacrificing this 1 week, and these next candles will be very clear that they're likely bullish, right? Likely going to be bullish candles. So until we do what? Until we create a new weekly fair value gap, and then you want to be careful again with what you're doing. So when we do have those candles and we have those daily biases set, so we know the weekly bias, so we already know the daily bias as well. What do? You go into the daily and the 4 hour to find a boundary, to now find a discount array where you can go into that discount array, and then you can go into the lower time frame to look for an entry model. That's essentially all you're doing. So right here, if we create a daily fair value gap and we create a bullish daily fair value gap right there, then what are we doing? We have daily fair value gap, we expect higher prices, we go into the lower time frame in that daily fair value gap, and we look for our entry pattern right there. That's all you're doing essentially, right? So that can also be done on the 4 hour, but on the weekly forecast, like I mentioned multiple times as well, I usually go over the daily and weekly first, and then throughout the week, I go more into the 4 hour as well. So exactly what I want to be doing here, because if we're creating a daily fair value gap, then my 4 hour needs to be in context of my daily. So if we have a 4 hour lag higher, but there's a daily fair value gap just below it, I want to be looking at the daily fair value gap because it's stronger. The same with everything that we had here. There's a weekly fair value gap there, so of course that will be stronger somewhat. Now again, I did not want to see it come into that weekly fair value gap because I did not think it was necessary, but we did react right there. So that is pretty nice. Now we sacrificed 1 week because I didn't take a trade last week. It was very low probability for me, price action last week. So right here, this is very nice though. This is looking very high probability price action right there. So higher prices on the dollar is what I have in mind. Now, this is where it gets interesting because ES and the indices itself, they are not showing any signs of stopping currently. So what do we have? Well, we might have where it's called decoupled. You might have a decoupled market right here. And why do I think that? I think that because we're coming off a monthly fair value gap right there. The next target, and based on how we close on that monthly fair value gap, the only probabilities or the only arguments that I can really come to are bullish prices right there. So if we can get to bullish prices right there, we do have a weekly fair value gap that we're coming into right there. But monthly stronger than the weekly, we are rejecting off that weekly fair value gap. So you can already see, all right, there's some 50-50 arguments to be made right there. But overall, I would say, all right, there's no real reason why price would stop right there and continue lower. So here, I do reckon that we might be bullish still until those highs right there, or at least these highs right there. So that is something to take into account, that I'm not that clear on ES right here, because as you can see, if I just did my top down, it's pretty 50-50 right there. But overall, it didn't show any signs of stopping. It even had a bullish day. It closed bullish right there. It's an up candle, whilst the dollar has also been expanding higher. So that, with that in mind, and we'll see it on the metals as well in a short while. With that in mind, we could just continue higher, even with the dollar rallying higher as well. We've seen that before. This could be a decoupled market right now. So there's something to take into account. Where I do prefer bullish prices overall, instead of bearish prices currently. Unless we get some bearish signs and we start disrespecting fair value gaps again, etc., then of course I'll switch my bias. So what can we see at the beginning of the week? We can see something like this. I like the overlapping area, especially since Friday came into this fair value gap. Then I would not really expect Monday to continue higher off of it. Reason being, Monday also bank holiday and no USD news. USD news comes in at Wednesday. Now, Monday can carry some energy, some volatility that it had left over from NFP. So you might see some volatility at the beginning of the day because it still has some volatility from NFP that it needs to get out. But right here, I would generally expect some retracement. So first some down movement, and then we continue higher off of that. That is what I would like to see. Then on DAX. DAX could navigate towards that daily fair value gap, but I don't like the way DAX is moving. It's just been in one big consolidation right there. So I don't like the way it's moving. Now, if we do continue higher, then I think we are heading higher from that fair value gap right there. But I'm not really too convinced on it, and I don't really like it with equal highs at the top right there, equal highs at the bottom right there. Don't really like what we're working with. So again, going into the 4 hour right here, it would sort of almost force the ID because I can't get to a clear drawn liquidity on the daily, weekly, or monthly. So the 4 hour here is just sort of me forcing the ID, which I don't really like as well. All right, then on NASDAQ, what are we seeing? The same on ES, where we are coming off a monthly fair value gap, but on NASDAQ, we don't have any reason to stop right there. Yes, we have an order block, but there's no fair value gaps. Again, no fair value gaps in lag. What happens? This whole lag is lower probability of holding. So when that does happen, then I would say, all right, we are likely targeting these highs right there. If we're not rebalancing something, we're likely doing what? We're likely taking liquidity. So then the target is that high right there. Then on the daily time frame, again, not showing any signs of stopping currently with the dollar as well going higher. We did reach that target right there. So that is something to keep in mind. it is now keeping in mind how we react at this fair value gap, and then more importantly, that overlapping high with that fair value gap beneath it right there. That is where you want to see, all right, how do we react right there? Will we continue higher right there? Will we disrespect it? So we close either very aggressively somewhere around there. Then I would argue, all right, next candles are also done. If we wick it and we close somewhere above the fair value gap, so above that line right there, then I would say, all right, we are still in for bullish prices. So here it's reacting. It's very much reacting. Then I am preferring bullish prices currently, but again, I could be wrong. And if I do get, if I do see I'm wrong right there, then I will adjust my bias as well. So that is very important to keep in mind. Then on the YM, what are we doing? Well, we still had this monthly order block. Then we just reached that monthly order block as well, which is right there with the fair value gap. Currently does not really seem that we are respecting that fair value gap because we came all the way above it. We're closing inside of it. Now, if it does want to continue lower, we can continue lower off of there. If it wants to continue higher, we can continue higher off of there. Is that high probability? Not really. You can make arguments for both sides of the market, which is not high probability at all. We can continue higher off of this daily fair value gap with that overlapping high. That is what I like. If we have that overlapping high, that could be nice right there. We still have a small daily fair value gap. Again, we don't need to come into it because we already reached a weekly premium array. So that is something to keep in mind, but that might be nice. Again, very much 50-50 right here. It's depending on what the beginning of the week wants to do. Right there. If we come into that at the beginning of the week, that might be nice because then the rest of the week can expand higher towards that. And then you have a nice, clear weekly range, which you would want to see. On the 4-hour right here, if we create bearish fair value gaps, again, might not be that interesting anymore for longs, but currently it's a very 50-50 right there. It's waiting for either this line of defense to go or that line of defense to go. That is what you would want to see. Because when we're trading above this high again, then right there, I would expect, all right, we are indeed taking all these highs as well. Then on Australian dollar, US dollar. Now, if the dollar wants to continue higher, and that is our draw on liquidity, right? We expect the dollar to continue higher. We are in the midst of creating a monthly fair value gap, but again, that's still a month away, so nothing to worry about just yet. But right here on the weekly, we came into that low again, not into a fair value gap or anything, which I do. I always like fair value gaps. If there's fair value gaps to work with, I like that. And I mean clear fair value gaps, as in not a fair value gap along the lines of that we've already traded into. Just clear fair value gaps. Now, we did come into that low there as well, which is pretty nice. So we have a daily fair value gap to work with right there. Do I expect higher price off of that daily fair value gap? Not really. Why not? The dollar is bullish. So I wouldn't really want to see higher price off that. Don't worry, I see the Nifty comment as well. I'll get to Nifty. Don't worry. So right here, I would not really expect a higher price off of that. I would prefer lower prices. So where can we go lower from? NFP made this order block right here. You could call it a breaker block. Did we come up above that high? I'm not too sure. No, we did not. All right, we have 4-hour fair value gap to work with there as well. Can we continue lower off of that? Yeah, could be nice. If we do that, then what can we see? We have this low to target and that low to target. And can you see, this is also what we touched on in the video, where this low already came into that fair value gap, that daily fair value gap, right? So if this already fails to push higher, then is this, when we come into it twice, is that a very high probability? No, because that fair value gap would have been already strong enough to push it higher the first time around. So it doesn't make sense to push it higher again right there, right? So I would prefer lower prices. Is lower prices high probability? No, not really right now. And this is what we've touched on a lot last week, especially in the mentorship as well. Prices are not at all high probability right now. And that is something to take into account. And that's why I want to share my data as well, because I think it's a huge eye opener. So again, look out for your email next week. I will be sharing it right there. So again, right here, I would like lower prices, but that is purely based off of what the dollar is doing, not really based off of the price action on AU itself. Then EU. Now EU does look better. It looks better than the rest of the pairs. And why I say that is because we have still a nice target in the form of that low and a nice target in the form of that low. We have a breaker block to work with right there. And what do we have? We have potential daily fair value gap in the making as well right there. So if we get something like this, then we can continue lower from there. So this does look very nice. I do like EU right here, especially since it's aligning perfectly with the dollar. Of course, it's inversely correlated. So right here, you're just exactly looking at the dollar, just inversely. So this is looking very nice coming into next week. Especially what I would prefer always is here a daily fair value gap, Tuesday, Wednesday coming into that daily fair value gap, and then we continue lower off of that. And that is how I set that boundary for me to go into the lower time frame. Because if I don't have that boundary to go into the lower time frame, then of course I will be stuck on a 15-minute and trade every 15-minute fair value gap. It's not what I want to do. So GU is also looking pretty nice. Now I prefer EU here, and the reason I prefer EU, it's just a little bit lower. So we already have that breaker block to work with. Whereas in GU, it's still just trying to get beneath that. Again, still pretty nice. We have this target right there and that lower target as well. We create a daily fair value gap potentially. That could still be nice. We have a BPR sitting there as well. So that could be pretty nice with the daily fair value gap. And then we can continue lower off of that as well. So again, GU, EU, they look good. They look quite good. USD Canadian dollar also looks pretty good. Now, again, same story as on EU and GU, just literally inversed. And what is happening here? We have a daily fair value gap potentially to work with. Again, depends on what Monday wants to do. If Monday never creates a daily fair value gap there, then of course, everything I'm saying here is very futile. You wouldn't use it this way and you would wait again for a new good discount rate. And then you would likely go into the 4-hour. Why you go into the 4-hour? Because of course, you have less time throughout that week. So right here, if we do create a daily fair value gap, then that could be very nice as well. The US dollar pairs are slowly transitioning to high probability conditions again. We had a lot of low probability conditions here. A lot. This was a pain in the ass right here to wait. It's not as high probability. And especially with what we saw in the dollar, right? I mentioned in the last video, I love fair value gaps. What did we see here? We almost had no fair value gaps to work with. Only at the beginning here. And then right there, a small fair value gap. And afterwards, this one, which we never traded into. And then right here, we just had very low probability price action. And then here, we are finally seeing some fair value gaps again. So that is exactly what I want to see. And now I think we're ready to take out that high and that high as well. Because as well, on the monthly, what are we seeing? A new monthly candle. So some pairs are ready to create new monthly context. When you have monthly context, again, what we saw in USDJPY, that's extremely strong, right? So right here, just we don't have clear monthly context here on the dollar, but we can tell what does it likely want to trade towards. The previous month high, right? It's pretty clear. So that target is already pretty clear. Then that target is also pretty clear because it's just above it. And that target is also pretty clear. So that is nice. How can we deliver towards that? We need discount arrays to work with. Perfect. Yeah, August is low probability. Yeah, true. And you can also see that in my data that I will share throughout this week is, I already mentioned it at the beginning of, in the mentorship, I mentioned, and in the live streams as well, I think, I mentioned that at start of June, I lower my risk for the summer months because it's not a high probability for me. So you can see that the trade volume in my data takes is significantly lower than other months as well, which is pretty interesting. Euro-Australian dollar looking high probable. Let's see afterwards. I'll check these ones and then Nifty and Euro-Australian dollar. USDJPY, what are we doing here? We swept this low, which again, is it high probability? I would not argue it's high probability. We swept a low with a fair value gap in it right there, which I don't really like to see. It happened during NFP as well. Now, if we do continue higher and USD also being bullish, then I would like to see new daily fair value gaps higher here, which then creates a potential intermediate term low. So that is also nice to see. Then on the 4 hour, we do have a 4 hour fair value gap to work with. Now, ideally, I want to wait at the beginning of the week and see where we are at either Tuesday or Wednesday. And now news for US dollar is on Wednesday. I did not check JPY. So right here, if we just do something like this at the beginning of the week, we have a new 4 hour fair value gap to work with, then Wednesday, Thursday might be very nice to target these highs as well. But again, it's not as high probability, and I don't like it as much as EU right there. So that is how I go over that as well. And the same fact, at the beginning of last week, I mentioned I really like USDJPY because we had this fair value gap to work with. Then what happened based on the video that we shared on Friday? See this? How we closed, how we disrespected that fair value gap, how we first shot up. We had a huge spike higher, and then we came into it very aggressively. Did not like that at all. So I didn't want to look for an entry. So eventually I had 0 trades this week because I didn't like the conditions. Then on silver, now this is a bit of the same as on the indices, where the dollar is moving higher, but silver is looking very strong currently. So this low right there is destined to go, in my opinion. That is going. And the reason why is because we have a weekly fair value gap sitting right there. So that weekly fair value gap, again, is a stronger magnet. You can trade towards them and you can trade off of them. So when we trade towards them, when we have a 4 hour fair value gap to work with right here, then you can take trades off of that, or even the 1 hour, you can take trades off of that to continue lower, to target that weekly fair value gap. So that is a clear drawn liquidity. But afterwards, I think we don't have a clear drawn liquidity anymore. Because right here, we are just sort of stuck between premium rates, discount rates, dollars going higher, so silver should be going lower, but silver is looking very strong. What is it doing? Again, same story as on indices, not that clear currently. So right now, I can already tell this week I would likely prefer Forex pairs. So I don't really like this, as in it's not high probability because we have bullish and we have bearish arguments, which I don't really like. Then on gold right here, again, same story. It's also looking pretty strong. We're not respecting that weekly fair value gap at all. So first thing that comes to my mind is, all right, we might be aiming for that high, but dollars also continuing higher. So will it do that? I'm not too certain. Then we have a daily fair value gap right there. I would like to see that daily fair value gap be responsible for new daily fair value gaps higher as well. So how can that look like? Well, at the beginning of the week, we don't have a lot of volatility, most likely. So we can take out that low again. Again, that is where we can come into it twice because we're at the beginning of the week. So it sort of refreshes. That Friday candle is just irrelevant. And then we come into it and then we create a new daily fair value gap. That would give me the confidence to target those highs right there. So that could be nice. Then we have Bitcoin. Absolute shit. I don't like it. I don't like it personally. Now we did come into that weekly fair value gap right there. And then on the daily, we have a new daily fair value gap. But you can see the volatility is just not there. In very short periods of time, we have a lot of volatility. But then again, it just dies down a lot, which I don't like. So if it does want to continue lower, then it can continue lower off of that fair value gap right there. Now, let's take a look at Euro Australian dollar, and then afterwards we'll take a look at Nifty as well. Euro Australian dollar. All right. This is pretty interesting. What are we seeing? We, of course, have this intermediate term low right there. We already came into it. Then we have a new expansion higher. Overlapping part with what? A fair value gap right there, which is very nice to see on a monthly basis. What are we doing on a weekly basis? Sorry. What are we doing on a monthly basis? We are potentially creating a fair value gap right there. We're not coming into a fair value gap on the left, which is also pretty nice to see. And not into that as well. We still have this weekly fair value gap there as well to work with. So there is still a reason to expand higher. I always like to target fair value gaps. Always. I use fair value gaps for everything. I do quite like this actually. And I think last week we mentioned how price could deliver into that weekly fair value gap, right? Which it did right now. What I would do in this case, how can we now have the confidence to trade off that weekly fair value gap? That is our main question. Now you would go into the 4 hour. What you are waiting for on the 4 hour, you're waiting for fair value gaps higher right here. And then ideally another fair value gap higher. Once you have that, you have the ultimate confidence to target, first off, these highs. But if these highs are going, and these highs are also going. So you want to wait for 4 hour bullish fair value gaps. You only need one, but for even higher probability, you wait for another fair value gap higher. So that is looking very nice. Whoever said that, it was Meg, I believe. Yes, this is looking very nice. It is looking very nice. Keeping in mind that this week could be capped at this fair value gap as well. So be mindful that if we do reach that you're not trying to take longs in that daily fair value gap. You wait for new context and then you target higher. That's what you want to do, right? So that does look very nice. It does look very nice, actually. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Nifty 50. Here we are. Here we are. What is happening? I think we mentioned this weekly fair value gap, or that what is it? Imbalance, sort of. Imbalance there. And we were expecting lower prices off of that. Now, currently, we're still in the same range. Nothing really has changed. It's still very, very rangy right here, which I do not like to see. So right here, I need to almost force an ID to go into the 4 hour and the 1 hour, which I do not like that much. Now, we did sweep these lows. So afterwards, if we do continue lower, I would not want this fair value gap to be disrespected. So right here, if I got to a bias, I would probably expect bullish prices even. Unless we get 1 hour and 4 hour fair value gaps lower, then I would look at lower prices. But right here, it first off is not that clear to me because we swept both the highs and the lows. So if we think about it, it's almost destined for seek and destroy conditions. No, all liquidity taken, no liquidity in the range right here. So what happens? Price might just do something like this and just consolidate right there. If it does that, again, you'll notice it by not following through on PD raise. If it doesn't follow through on PD raise, then it will be seek and destroy conditions. If it does, then it automatically tells you where it likely wants to go. Because if it does follow through on that fair value gap or that fair value gap, then we will likely continue higher off of that, right? So that could be nice if that happens. But currently, I'm not seeing anything too clear right here. Let me see, what did we see on the monthly? We did come into that monthly sort of fair value gap right there, but we're not really respecting it. Very low close as well. New month. The new month could make the high to continue lower towards that previous month's low, but you can already tell I have a 50-50 bias on here. So I don't really like it. I would want to wait for new 4 hour fair value gaps to form. Bank Nifty as well, for sure, my friend, for sure. Bank Nifty. What's happening on Bank Nifty? Let's see. What are we doing on a monthly basis? On a monthly basis, that's interesting. It's interesting that we are not creating a monthly fair value gap. Already, we are denying the creation of that monthly fair value gap very early on in the month, which could mean two things. That if it wants to expand higher and disrespect that low, we will likely target that high. But it can also mean, I don't know if you know the concept of an immediate rebalance, where we are potentially creating a fair value gap, where we have the expansion, price taps into that low, and now continues lower off of that. And I could see that happening because we have that order block to target and that fair value gap to target on a monthly basis. So that already gives me some context to work with. Then we go into the weekly. What are we seeing on the weekly? We have these lows. We do have an order block right there, which is overlapping with the highs, which is quite nice. I do quite like that. What are we doing on the daily? I need the daily to tell me something. We have an ST higher right here. We have a very small fair value gap higher there as well, but they didn't take out this high. What is happening here? It's also very 50-50, just like Nifty itself. And I think that's normal because it's basically the same, right? It looks the same at least. And right here, we could continue lower off of that, but then we need to disrespect that weekly. We do have a monthly fair value gap lower. It's not really clear at all. Very, very unclear price action currently. And this is what I mean with we're not really following through on PD rates. Whenever I say that is we have fair value gaps here. We had an order block here sitting right there. We're not really following through because we had one fair value gap there and we just continued higher. Then we had a fair value gap there. That fair value gap was not responsible for taking out that high, but this fair value gap was not responsible eventually for taking out that low. So we're disrespecting on both sides. We have not really clear. So right here, I want to be very careful. I want to wait for new 4-hour fair value gaps. If the 4-hour fair value gaps are bullish, then I want to target this weekly fair value gap, with that being my drawn liquidity right there. If the 4-hour fair value gaps are bearish, then I want to target these lows. First off, this high, and then afterwards, this monthly fair value gap. But currently, it's not that clear. I can't get to a clear drawn liquidity right now, just based off of this. Not that clear to me. All right, let's go over GBP Australian dollar. Let's see. What are we doing? GBP Australian dollar. This is a weekly fair value gap, I reckon. Let me see. Monthly, creating a fair value gap as well. Potentially weekly into that fair value gap. So this is where the thing comes in, where we have a fair value gap there and a fair value gap there. What is the difference between this fair value gap and that fair value gap? Nothing. There's no difference, right? There's nothing overlapping here that isn't overlapping there. So they're identical. They're both the same. So what that means is that if we're not going higher off of this fair value gap, why should we go higher off of that fair value gap? And why not look for something overlapping instead? That is what I would want to look at, right? So on a daily time frame, what are we doing? I saw the price action last week, and this already told me, I think I mentioned it as well, that this is not strong, right? This is not what you want to see as well based on the video, but this is also not what you want to see, because this weekly fair value gap is also failing to push price higher. So I do think we're bearish here. I just need to wait for a new premium array to take trades from. So that can be that order block, which is right there, and a daily fair value gap if we do form it. And then my target would first be that high, and then afterwards even lower potentially, because this high doesn't have a fair value gap right there. So potentially even lower. Then as well, this lines up with the monthly high. So that is a nice target. There's a nice drawn liquidity right there. Then on the 4-hour fair value gaps, wait for those and then trade off those. That could be nice. GJ, I also saw GJ, by the way. I saw someone mention GJ. What are we doing? Yeah, so this is interesting as well. This is interesting because by the looks of it, yes, we are respecting. On a mechanical basis, are we respecting that weekly fair value gap? Yeah, we are, right? But on a logical base, if we go into the daily right here, does this weekly fair value gap now seem very strong? Again, I said look at it on respective time frames, look at it on a weekly basis, but if this is also a down candle, it looks to me like this low might want to go. And when that low is going, then the first target again is just any discount rate that is beneath that. That is first off that. And then eventually all these lows. Now, take a look at the monthly. Is there something happening? We're failing to create a monthly fair value gap right there. So this again, lining up with that order block is a first target. Then eventually we have a monthly fair value gap sitting all the way there, which is pretty interesting. So right here, I am not really bullish. Am I really bearish? Not really. So on a 4-hour, we are coming off of that fair value gap right there. If we do want to continue lower, I would want to see new 4-hour fair value gaps being created, which already reaches the target right there. When we are in a bullish target, the discount rate, then it's not really nice anymore. So right here, I'm pretty 50-50. I don't see a clear drawn liquidity. And what I mean by that is I don't really see how price can run. And what I mean by that even is that if price runs to the downside, then right there, we are encountering a first discount rate that's very close. If we run to the bullish side, yes, that could happen, but we also run into a lot of things. So there's a lot of reasons to reject right there. And that's not really what you want to see. You want to have nice trends where we have this, for example, where we just have nice bullish candles. We don't want to see this where we're constantly rejecting off of premium raise, discount raise, premium raise, discount raise. That's not really what you want to see. So Right here, I don't really like it. I would prefer even if we take out these lows right there and get some bullish 4-hour value gaps. Then we have something nice to work with. But currently, yeah, it's just another sign that it's currently very low probability on certain pairs. I've gone over EU, yes. Oh, lots of unclear instruments this time. Yeah, it really is. And I hope that, I hope my message is very clear in that as well. That I also mentioned it in the email that you will be getting. It's like, I'm always trying to find the highest probability price action on an instrument. And whenever I can't find that, then it's very unclear to me. And I don't want to force anything. That is my main goal. So I hope you can all see as well that based on the A to Z guide videos, etc., that we can see that on a lot of instruments, it's very unclear, which automatically leads to low probability price action. So you don't want to necessarily get involved. You want to wait for high probability price action. So dollar, yes, dollar is strong. Dollar is very strong this week. And I do like the dollar. I do like the dollar. Can we someone get your weekly trade recap, which you took that week? Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe if we take some trades this week. Last week or the previous week, this week actually, I didn't take any trades. I didn't take any trades currently. Where's the best place to go from once you know the basics like FVG order block? That's great. That's a great start to your journey. And once you know that, you want to see if you can tell yourself a story just using the fair value gaps or order blocks. So for example, what I would advise you is to go over the A to Z guide and see how we basically mainly focus on fair value gaps, and they already tell us everything you need to know, because the fair value gaps, they lead to our bias. They give us our entry model. They give us where we need to place our stop loss. It's like everything you need to know. So only fair value gaps alone, they are great. What's up, Indian FX? How are you doing, brother? I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. I am doing great. Hope you're doing great as well. Are you my hero? Love you, bro. Love you. Thank you for that. Let me see. A lot of questions in the meantime. I was going US oil. I also saw that one. Yes, let's go over US oil. US oil. What are we doing? Ooh, looking very bullish. Looking very bullish. Monthly. All right. New monthly candle, which could eventually lead to create a monthly fair value gap. Currently not that relevant. Weekly above that high. Above this high right now. So that means automatically the context from this discount rate to that premium rate is now over, right? So what do we want? We want new context. That's what we want to work with. Then right here, we potentially have new context, as in we are creating daily fair value gaps with overlapping highs right there. So if we get something like this, that could be very nice. I do quite like that. A very nice delivery, actually. Very nice delivery. When was the last time I looked at this? I remember I looked at it on a different week forecast, but I really like this delivery. It's very clean. Like really clean. Look at this fair value gaps. And again, this might not be clean price action for you, but because I love fair value gaps, then this price action is so incredibly clean to me. It's just respecting fair value gaps, clear fair value gaps as well. Absolutely lovely. Looks very nice. On the 4 hour, so this is where it gets scary though, because on the 4 hour, look at this also. Fair value gaps right there. Fair value gaps right there. Wow. I'm a bit amazed. Look at how it's disrespecting this leg, this structure leg lower. Why? Because we have fair value gap in that leg, right? Should be high probability. No, there's a daily fair value gap just hovering above that. So use the daily one. And that is what I'm trying to tell you here. When we're moving higher, you don't zoom in on the 4 hour or the 1 hour, because we just took out a weekly context. So be very careful that we have daily fair value gaps sitting right there. So whenever you see a 4 hour leg higher with a 4 hour order flow, 4 hour fair value gap higher, that's what I'm trying to say, then right there you want to be careful that we can simply take that out, because there's a daily fair value gap hovering just below it. So you want to be careful of that. I do quite like this. This is very clean, actually. Very clean. Look at this price action as well. Wow. 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 Look at that. Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's my textbook. It's like heaven for me. Wow. EURUSD is looking sweet. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Honestly, UJ and EU looks most high probably. Yeah, true, true. Just found your content. It is fantastic. Loving it. Thank you, my friend, for the clarity. Love it. Let's go, Austin. Appreciate that a lot, man. Appreciate that a lot. Happy I can help, of course. Of course. I suggested trustworthy prop firm for prop challenge. Tradu is a nice one. Tradu. And I think you're never wrong to go with like an original like FTMO. But of course, we also saw my Forex funds going down, which is pretty interesting, right? Pretty interesting. Yeah. What do you think about all this prop stuff? Well, there's two ways I feel and I think of it. Of course, it's a shame. And it's good that everyone looks into the regulations and that we see, all right, which one is truly regulated, etc. It's great, though, that it is a reminder that prop firms right now are leveraged and you want to be scaling towards your personal and investors, most likely, right? That's what you want to scale to. And not everyone wants to have investors, so a personal is also always great, right? And what you want to be looking at is, of course, focusing on your own trading always, because why I told everyone like on Twitter, whilst everyone is busy with regulations, a lot of people are always trying to find somehow an excuse on why they shouldn't do things. That's what I always feel like. So the whole prop firm discussions, like should I use prop firm, should I use personal trading, like just trade, just do it. Like 99% of the people are distracted by the fact like they're constantly talking about all these stuff and they don't just actually start trading and doing the work. If you just focus on that, then it doesn't really matter because opportunities will come to you, whether it's through a prop firm, whether it's through personal trading, it doesn't really matter. But most of the people are just too busy focusing on irrelevant stuff, as in like, oh, is this prop firm regulated? Like, if you just go with FTMO, Tradu, Funded Engineer, if it somehow ends up badly, like on my Forex funds, again, so be it, it happens, but just focus on getting new capital again. Don't focus on the whole story where you constantly are busy with all these irrelevant things. It's the same with people. Like I remember a huge discussion where it was like prop firms versus personal account. Like there's not one better than the other. Like just trade, just do your thing. That is very important. Like it's stay away from social media. Exactly. Like a lot of people are, and it's like this. I don't know the English word, but it's like, when you're trying to do something and you know it will be difficult, you're always trying to find a reason of not trying to do it. So whenever people focus on prop firms, they're always trying to find a reason to like, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing. Like they're always trying to find some confirmation bias where they just try to find a reason on why they shouldn't do it. Like just accept it will be difficult, just go do it. That is very important. Yeah, they start procrastinating, etc. Exactly. That's exactly like it's so futile. Like the thing I'm trying to tell you as well is like there's a lot of people that are so busy with irrelevant things. Like a lot of things. Like when I heard things in the news or for example on prop firms, I care about it. Yes, I'm like, all right, this is pretty shit, like for some people that were funded with my Forex funds. But then I focus on myself again and I remember like, all right, does it affect me in any way? Can I do something about it? No. So I focus on the things I can control and I keep on going. Like, it's very futile to be stuck in that loop of like, oh, regulations, no. Like, there's nothing we can do really. It's just keep on doing. And it's the same with news, media, for example, social media. It's everything. It's very dangerous if you get caught up in that loop and you're just a feather in the wind and you have no control of your thinking anymore, where you just like constantly focus on the wrong things that you can't even control. It's like, yeah. Yes, Nick, you know it. I have the most Dutch accent there is. Exactly. Yes, I am Dutch, indeed. What's up, Sean? How you doing, brother? Always great to see Sean here. Yeah, true. FF is just a warning to everyone. Effect on both ways. Some will be good and bad. After all, we have to scale. Exactly. That's all we need to worry about. As long as we have to scale, that's all we need to worry about. Yeah. Really. MSB? What time you explain this, sir? What does that mean? Is it something you could trade? MSB? Or am I just tripping? Wait. I don't really understand. What's up, Wahid? I'm doing great. Thank you. And Anaheim, of course. I'm also doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for that. Thank you. Hope you are all doing well as well. That's called a dichotomy control in Stoicism. Love that. Stoicism is so Super important as well. Should we use the index spot chart of the current month future chart for analysis? You can do whichever one you prefer, but you can just use the normal TFC one as well. You don't really need the official dollar. It will be a little bit different. What is it called again? I don't really know what the futures contract is called again. What is it called again? Is it ICE US? Could be the one. Yeah, I do think it is. Can you check something very specific? Can you? For sure, my friend. For sure, for sure. For sure. Let's see. Where were we? Yeah, focus on positive. Always focus on the positive. Believe me, always focus on the positive. It will get you a long way in life. If you can find in every single thing a positive thing, for example, even where MFF is like all messed up and you lose an account, if you can find some positive reason for that, and you can find, I don't know, maybe very spiritual reason, be my guest, then that's extremely beneficial because you'll always have a positive mindset. It's extremely important as well. NZDUSD views, please do last week. It was sideways, but looks good on weekly. Let's see, my friend. NZD US dollar. Forex, what are we doing? We swept this high right there. We swept this high as well, and we came into an old weekly fair value gap right there. The only thing I don't like about that weekly fair value gap, we are sweeping. The only thing I don't really like, this is daily, my bad. This is daily. Weekly fair value gap, perfect. Right now, we are in a weekly fair value gap right there. At which time did we get into it? Already there. All right, on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, swept it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the trades that you already took right there. Nothing wrong with it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Especially when you're first targeting the daily fair value gap right there. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with that. So right here, I do think we now have confirmation because this fair value gap, daily fair value gap, is not pushing price higher, right? It's not strong enough. So this is the target based on the weekly, because now we have clear weekly context as well. Premium to daily. To discount. Sorry, my brain is already messed up again. Premium to discount array right there. So that is what you would want to be looking for. And on 4 hour fair value gaps, 4 hour order blocks, break blocks, that is where you want to be looking for shorts. Target these lows right there. Even on the 1 hour, you can look at fair value gaps, order blocks, whatever, something like this, and then we continue lower off of that. I do quite like this. But yeah, there's nothing wrong really with this trade, to be honest. Nothing really wrong. The only thing is, of course, like, keep in mind, you want to trade Wednesday London session, but then Wednesday New York and Thursday and Friday, you don't want to do anything ahead of NFP ideally, because it's lower probability than the rest of the price action. So this again is explainable, as in NFP just swept everything and is now ready to go. And that is what you want to take into account as well. The news drivers right there. Saludos desde Colombia, my friend. I'm end of September, I'm actually visiting Colombia as well. So it's pretty interesting. That is pretty nice. I like that. Then I'm just preparing to go and watch F1. All good, my friend. All good. All good. In a bit, I also have to go. I have a family birthday actually today, which I'm going to. Again, none of your concern, but I just like to share it, right? Check Bank Nifty on 31st of August and 1st September. 1 minute price action. Very confused. And the reason I picked this one out, it's because I want to give you not a lecture. I just want to help, which is of course why I'm here. But the reason I want to go into this price action and why I chose this one is because you gave me no boundary. So what I mean by that is, if you go into the 1 minute, then, for example, it will hold sometimes, it will not hold right there, but there's no boundary to go into the 1 minute time frame. So if you're just taking 1 minute trades right here, or just looking at the 1 minute itself, it is very confusing because it goes every way. But if we take a look at these lows right there getting swept, and we, for example, go some time frames above it, then we likely see a fair value gap that it came into. We have one 5 minute fair value gap right there. Do we also have a 50 minute? Yeah, nice. So here you would have the 15-minute, and this is usually very unattractive to people. And what I mean by that is people just want to go dive into the 1 minute, and they want to try to take a trade every single minute, whilst if you just have a simple boundary right there, then here you could even go into the second time frames, and you can just take a trade off of a simple fair value gap high right there. And that's all you would need. And it's the same with the confusing price action right there. This is also likely coming into something that is on the time frame above it. So if we look at that, and like sometimes I also think like it's not really fancy, is it? Like maybe I should just make it fancier and have fancy words to, I don't know. Like it's not really fancy, but it works like a charm. It's insane. Like if you can understand it, it's insane. So if we go up time frames, we first off have this 15-minute fair value gap, which we already came into right there. All right. And then right here, we just have a 1 hour fair value gap to work with right there. And did we come into something on the 4 hour? Don't think so. No, we did not. So on a 1 hour fair value gap, if you then go into the 1 minute, then right here, we did come into it. So I'll give you that. Then right there, that is a pretty confusing price action where we took out this legs and then we took out that high as well. And afterwards, we continued lower again. That is pretty confusing. I'll give you that for sure. Now, is there something we can work with on time basis? Right here, this all happened pre-London and a little bit during Asia as well. This is the end of, this is of course Nifty. It's different timings. That's why the gaps as well. That is how the 1 minute is indeed confusing, because you don't really have a boundary to go into the lower time frame as well, right? We just take a 1 minute or 1 hour fair value gap or anything, then it already clears it up a lot. Hope that makes sense. Where can I find your mentorship? It's on wap.com/ROI. If you do have questions, you can always send me an email at info@rio.io. Definitely recommend mentorship. It's lit. Love it, hard coded. Man, appreciate it a lot. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Let me see. Glad to catch you live. Love your channel. Hey, Fearless, let's go. Love to see it. Love to see it. What do you think about futures prop firms? Futures of prop firms or futures prop firms? It's actually funny pun you did there. I like that. No, but the futures prop firms itself, I think it can be great. And I know a lot of people in the mentorship as well, in the money making team, that are funded with futures prop firms. So they can be great. And maybe because I'm used to Forex prop firms that I don't really like them, as in the rules are more so difficult. But if you're used to futures prop firms and trading futures in general, then yeah, futures prop firms are certainly great, certainly great. Now, what do I think about the futures of prop firms itself? Then I would say I think they're here to stay somehow. With futures prop firms, then the futures prop firms that we talked about, where you trade indices, etc., they've been here for a pretty long while. Prop firms have always been here, but like right now they're just getting very commercial in a sense. So yeah. You get a lot of messages about trading, nothing personal. I just want to ask, how are you? Brother, you are amazing. I love that. I love that. Thank you for that. Thank you. I do get a lot of messages about trading. But I also, here and there, like, for example, a great human being like yourself, I get questions about how I am. And I'm great. Thank you. I am great. Is there something on my mind I can share with you all? Not really. No. I can't complain really. Feeling great. Doing great. Yeah. Nothing really I could think of. Thank you for asking though. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Do you go live every Sunday? Yes, every Sunday. Most of the people ask this usually question for nothing because they don't have money to trade on personal accounts or choosing between $5 own account or... Yeah, exactly, ASK, exactly. Our birthdays are coming up. I hope you're ready. Yes, they are. Get ready. The 11th of September, my friend. Oof, almost there. You should come for a vacation in Ghana. Oh, let's go. Would love to, brother. Would love to. Goed uit 024. 024. Where is 024? Let me see. 024. Okay, nice. Love to see it. Sorry to annoy you. Could you show me your candle colors and your breakout? No worries. You don't annoy me at all, my friend. You don't annoy me at all. The body, the up candle, So the body of the up candle is this one. You can just pause it if you'd like to. It's this one. And then the body down candle is this one. And then the borders are both the same. Borders are this one. And then the wicks are these right there. And all 100% opacity, I think. Yeah, all 100%. And my background, which I get a lot of questions about, my background is really just white. It's just white. That's it. Where can I see that actually? Here, my background is just white. It's just the one in the top left. And these are my settings. Don't have a crosshair. I don't have the grid lines or something. So yeah. EU and GU are looking nice, TRX. They are looking nice, to be honest. EU with lower price as well. GU as well. Looking pretty nice. Yeah. Hello, hope you're doing well, and I want to know that all Moroccan traders learn from you, and they thank you for your knowledge. Man, that is insane, brother. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Appreciate that a lot. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you. How old are you? I am 21 years old, my friend. Almost turning 22. What's up, RO? It's me, Kelvin. Your account regroup. Hey, love to see it, brother. Love to see it. Thank you, Kelvin. Appreciate it a lot, man. How have you been? I see works well, but you have to be in a higher time frame. But since the index is open to trade for only, it gets very difficult. Yeah, right? That's talking about Bank Nifty, right? Yeah. All social media deleted are your complete attention, my friend. Let's go, Andy. Andy just joined the masterclass as well. And that is one of the instructions. Well, not really instructions. It's just an advice I give to people. No distractions, full focus. Let's kill it. Exactly. Love to see that, Andy. Love to see that. Appreciate it a lot as well. It's a great step. It's a difficult step, but it's a great step. What's the safest prop to sign up for now, in your opinion? I would say Tradu. Tradu. Yeah, Tradu. And then, or an original like FTMO. I don't think like FTMO will probably not really face any regulation as well. Don't quote me on that. I'll look like an idiot. But I think Tradu, FTMO are very safe. 21 reach more in life than most people reach until they're 50. Well, they reached 50, like they got to see a lot of life. It's also an achievement itself, but yeah, I don't know. I still think I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but of course, maybe that's me just being humble. I'm very grateful in the position I am. Let's put it that way. One-time fee will get me in the current masterclass or put me on waitlist. One-time fee for the lifetime and both the essential class will get you in immediately. And that's again because the lifetime fee, when you're paying that, the one-time fee, then you have all the time in the world to watch it because you have a lifetime to watch it. Tradu, yeah, you spelled it perfectly, Tradu, just with one extra D. So it's like this, Tradu. That's it. That's the one. So yeah, the one-time fee skips the line essentially. Lifetime. Yes, perfect. I'm not in masterclass, but I deleted all my social media accounts except Twitter and YouTube to learn and polish my skills with full focus. Let's go. Exactly what I would love to see. And again, the reason why I say that, because I've also been there where I'm trying a strategy and I take one loss, even though it's a great strategy, I take one loss and then I hop onto YouTube or Twitter and I'm like, all these people are telling me different things. And then I'm like, well, maybe they know better than me. I should use whatever they are using. And that could be true. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just stick to that one mentor. That is very important, right? When you're visiting India, oof, I'm not sure, my friend. I would love to. I was very close to India this summer, but I would love to come to India. What are some great places to go into India? I'm not profitable yet at all. What can I do, bro? Depends really on where you are right now, my friend. Depends really on where you are. Not your country, but where you are in your trading journey. And that would give me a better indication as well. Let me see, Anthony. What did you say? So if I'm understanding correctly, would it be right to assume that if price doesn't try to tap back into this fair gap, price should expand towards the next drawn liquidity, right? I'm not sure what was that on gold on the daily. I'm under the assumption that price is wanting to continue higher, giving the circumstances of Friday provided sweeping heights. Yeah, exactly. It's also what I'm thinking, Anthony, right now. That's based on gold itself. Yeah, based on the dollar, it gets more tricky, right? I think you get that. I think you get that. Where's Tradu located? The founders are from America, I believe, and the investors, or where it's run, I think it's somewhere Malta. But correct me if I'm wrong. You can check their Twitter. to be certain, but I might be wrong, so don't take my word for it, please. What's up, Dennis? I man, appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate it a lot, man. Appreciate you what you've just done. Taking your time to thank me, that means a lot. That is, I don't know, it's a really kind gesture. I like that a lot. Thank you. If a pair is setting up good, so do you only trade the days of news of the same pair or whenever it's setting up? Only trade the news. So on the news day itself. So yeah, only on the news days. What was the initial fee for? The initial fee is essentially, you can see it in two ways. It's to make it people easier to be there for a longer period of time, because you're with the initial fee, my initial thought process behind it was you're exposed to a lot of content immediately, and then also new content gets added every single day, etc. So that makes it more fair, in my opinion. Next week gonna be clean. We got no news. Yeah, we got some as in we got no CPI, FOMC, NFP, so we are likely in for a great week, hopefully. Could you sometimes show you how you journal, make annotations, not just trading journal, how you map out price and save screenshots? Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. I actually have an A to Z video as well on journaling, which is coming up. It's sort of approaching the end of the A to Z guide as well. So yeah, the end, and then afterwards we do have time to make some great high quality videos, which I'm pretty excited for. Let's see. Is essential content different from the YouTube channel? Yeah, 100%. The essential content in the money making team is way different from the YouTube. And essentially how you can view it, like I tell a lot on my YouTube, but things like candle science, order flow, some things, small things about market structure, like the essential class is very detailed, more detailed, and you sort of have a guide. With every video you watch in the essential, you get closer to your own trading plan and how to form it exactly, how to use the concept exactly. And sometimes the YouTube can be vague in that aspect. And it's not because I do it on purpose, but that's just how it sort of works on YouTube. And then if you truly want the, how I always view it is like the essential class, it's like a full guide me on how to get there. And in YouTube it requires more of your work, but you can achieve it. It just requires more of your own work. And essential, I sort of already tell you how you do it. If you are really serious about trading, join Mentorship. Real sauce lies there. Indian Effect is also a masterclass member, so he knows. Yeah, love to see it. Love to see it. I have one confusion on your recent video on US30 weekly chart. Are we respecting or disrespecting the weekly Verify gap? Let's see. Oh, my mouse is lagging. Perfect. US30, so YM right there. On a weekly basis, right? Weekly basis. This right there or that? We are both disrespecting them. So we are both disrespecting this and that Verify gap as well. We're both disrespecting them. What we can expect though, when we do disrespect it, we can expect it to reach for an overlapping part. So the overlapping part is that order block, which is just the afterwards part, sort of. And that is what we can reach for. But again, it's not high probability, as in we don't really know what it wants to reach for anymore. And that makes it a little bit 50-50. That makes sense. Wipro on the daily, if it creates daily Verify gap on a Monday. Let's see. Wipro. What are we doing? Monthly, weekly, small little Verify gap. Yes. Daily. Ooh, okay. Okay, nice expansion higher. Coming off the weekly as well. Just still bullish, in my opinion. These highs to target. Daily Verify gap, if we are creating that, then right there, we could continue higher off of the daily Verify gap. Could be very nice. Same for the 4 hour. Yeah, looks good. Looks primed to go higher. For sure. I like that. Let's go, Austin. Let's go. Hey man, you seem really kind, and your AZ guy is also really helpful. I really appreciate your effort. Keep on going. Love it. Love to hear it, Nico. You're also really kind. An amazing human being. Thank you for that. Thank you for telling me that. You skipped my question twice. Hopefully I wasn't asking too much. If so, apologies. No worries, Breezy. No worries. Let me see. Where was your question? I'm sorry about that. Like sometimes I get overwhelmed with the chat, so I don't really read all the questions. So if I do miss anything, then like no worries. I don't hate your question or anything. It's just I missed it. I'll go over it right now. Let me see. Your content is amazing. So once you have your bias and narrative in place, what time frames are you monitoring to get into a trade? Seems like you're not a scalper. Thank you again. Appreciate that, B-Reezy. Appreciate that a lot, my friend. So what I do right there is once I have my context set, and I think you understand by your question as well, that you know what the context is, then the not the difficult part, but the part you need to pay attention to is how you combine the time frames. Because when you have, for example, we create a daily fair value gap here on Wipro, and then afterwards we come into that daily fair value gap. I personally want to go into the 15-minute time frame. The lower your time frame, the more confirmation you need. I need 2 fair value gaps, bullish fair value gaps on the 15-minute time frame. But if I was to go into the 1 minute, I need maybe 20, because you can't confirm a daily fair value gap based on the 1 minute time frame. It's going to be very difficult. You can do it, but how many hits will you take before you get it right? That is the main thing, right? It's a great question though. I like that question. And you can even use the 1 hour, and in the 1 hour you might only need 1 bullish fair value gap to enter. So that is how you can combine the time frames. And generally what I do is you daily either 15-minute or 1 hour, and then 4 hour PD array, I go 5 minute or 15 minute. 1 hour, you can do 1 minute or 5 minute. Again, the lower the time frame confirmation, the more confirmation you are going to need, actually. If that makes sense. Great question, though. Great question. Yeah, it is somewhat high probability, that daily fair value gap, to send price higher. But the thing is, like, dollar is also bullish. So it's a bit 50-50, right? So if it does want to expand higher, I would somewhat expect the beginning of the week to potentially continue lower and then continue higher. But it's, yeah, if the dollar is also going lower or higher, then yeah. 10% static max drawdown, that means that the drawdown will always stay at 10% and it doesn't change. So it's not trailing. Trailing is like where it's like it's hunting you. it's the prop firms hunting you. We have market maker model on gold. Can you check it again on the 4 hour market maker sell model? Let me see. Market maker sell model. Do you mean the bigger one right here or this one? And what would be the context behind it? That is very important for me. The context behind the market maker model. Or this market maker model in general. That's a beautiful market maker model. Yeah. Can you explain why sometimes price gives a market structure shift but disrespect the fair value gap and sweeps the high low again to give another market structure shift, then continue from there? Which one do you mean with that? Or do you have any example to get it clear? No worries, B-Reezy. Appreciate you a lot, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. You too, my friend. You too. You too. Appreciate that a lot. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. The Flippant Fox. Do you have any... The Flippant Fox. If you do find an example, because I'll wrap it up right now, just send me an email to info@ario.io and I'll make sure I'll go over a few questions as well. Don't spam it, but EU Wednesday. Perfect. Perfect. Just in time. Let's see. EU Wednesday 4 a.m. EU Wednesday 4 a.m. 15-minute time frame. And let's see. My trading strategy. Whilst I search for this, I'll slowly explain my trading strategy. My trading strategy is mainly based on high probability and low probability. And well, that's not really what it's based on, but that's a big factor for me. And it's a big factor for everyone, but a lot of people don't seem to understand it really. And what I do is I have guidelines, so it's very mechanical in a way. So yeah, that is very important. All right, let me see. Yeah, pretty much the same, Anthony. I didn't really see it, but maybe I was missing something. All right, let me see here. Got distracted. So right here, what are we doing? First off, on EU, where we have, what did you say again? What was the question again? Explain why sometimes price give market structure shift, but disrespect the fair value gap and sweeps the high. Yeah, exactly. So we have this somewhat market structure shift. I don't really pay attention to market structure shift. If I was to trade here, what I would do is I don't look at market structure shifts. I just look at bullish fair value gaps. Once we have one bullish fair value gap, then I look at, all right, on the PD array matrix. This is the last golden nugget before I end the stream, by the way, because I do really have to go. So take notes of this because this is a beautiful, actually, a mentorship golden nugget. So what you want to do here is you have this leg higher, the first leg higher, which is a fair value gap higher. So you don't take a trade off of that. You don't look to take a trade off of that. What you're doing, you're waiting to any discount array that is there to show itself that it wants to continue higher. So with a new displacement higher, a new fair value gap higher. Which discount arrays do we have right there? Fair value gap, order block or break block right there. And we have this low. Then you wait for either comes into the fair value gap right there. You wait for a new fair value gap higher. Once you have that new fair value gap higher, that is exactly your confirmation of price wanting to go higher indeed. So that low, based on the video, you can apply that on fair value gaps, but you can apply it on everything. We're respecting that low, right? And then we continue higher. So that is how I would view that. And again, right here, it's also important having a boundary. Am I looking at the right price action? I think I am, right? Or not? I hope I am. Let me 30 August. You're far behind. My bad. My bad, Flippant Fox. Let me see. But it's a nice nugget, right? I'll also check this one. My bad, my friend. Let me see. This one, right? This one, yeah. All right. So this is a little bit different right here because we already have the first fair value gap, second fair value gap there as well. But it's the same premise, actually. It is the same premise because what I would do is I wait for either this discount rate, that discount rate, the breaker, that low to be traded into, and I wait for a new fair value gap. And then this right there, that is way higher probability to enter off of that fair value gap right there. Especially if you have an overlapping high, that is a way higher probability. So yeah, that is how I view it. But this does happen sometimes. Yeah, it does happen even when we have a fair value gap in the low right there. Is nothing really we can control. The thing we can pay attention to, and what I would potentially to gather data on, is this low is made in 130. So it's pre-London. A low that is made in London is way stronger than a low that is made in any other time. Like not a kill zone, for example. So that is how I would view that. So there's two ways of viewing that exactly. Hope that makes sense. All right, perfect. Then in the meantime, hard-coded, love. You too have a great day. Keep me updated on everything. Indian FX, love to see it as well. Everyone that's here, love to see it. Thank you everyone for being here. I do have to wrap it up right now. I am off to a nice little birthday party. And then I'll see everyone later on. I'll also share a poll in the Telegram. So if you're not in Telegram just yet, link in the description. I'll share a poll right there to maybe have a different time for the live stream. See what fits everyone. That would be nice. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you all. Love you all. And I'll see you at the next one. Thank you.